Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us for this third webinar of our interactive series of LIFE-BECKON interactive webinars that we have as part of our capacity building program. So today's webinar is on empowering communities, operational excellence for sustainable energy management. Together with my colleague Marta de los Rios White, we are here from the European Network of Living Labs, hosting this series of webinars as partners of the LIFE-BECKON project. And this is the third of the 3 webinars that we hosted already about energy communities. So we started the first one on empowering municipalities initiating and planning energy communities. Then we had the second one on unlocking the future, sustainable futures, financing energy communities projects. And then now with the third one, we delve deeper into the operation and management of energy communities. All the materials, including the presentation of the speakers and the recordings of the previous webinars, are available in our LIFE-BECKON one-stop shop platform. You can use the QR code, of course, to scan and register there so you can have access to all of them. And so today's, as said, we will delve deeper into the operation and management of energy communities. So after being set up, gaining practical insights of how to optimize energy demand and supply, and also explore the interconnectivity among the energy communities. Today's moderator is Mauro Ostinelli from R2R Solution, which is also the coordinator of LIFE-BECKON project. Mauro, will give the floor to you now before presenting the speakers, and we start with the presentations.
Thanks, Elena, for the introduction. Well, I will be, like Elena said, I will be the moderator of this webinar. We have 2 speakers, Paco Jofra and Tania Castro. Now it will, Paco will start the first presentation. I will, yeah, just sorry, I will just summary. I haven't summary the agenda. Is Paco will say this establishment of resilient operational framework for energy communities, and then Tania will do the network between the energy communities and collaborative opportunities. Then we will have a question and A session that I will also make as a moderator, and then a closing summary of the sessions. Just regarding the rules of this webinar, it's being recorded, like Elena said, and we will be muted as long as the recording is ongoing. Well, if you have any question, just post it on the chat of Zoom. Well, then I think you can start, Paco.
Perfect. I will share my screen. Give me a second. Okay. You can see my screen already, right? Yes?
Yes,
I guess yes. Okay, perfect. Let me move this here. Okay, so thank you very much for inviting us, the Comanage project, but also as EcoSurveys. And I also wanted to start congratulating the LIFE-BECKON project with this series of interesting webinars that you have implemented. So today the aim of the session will be to explore the aim of the importance of the management of energy communities, while at the same time I will try to go through different operational frameworks that we have explored through the Comanage project. And speaking of which, I will try to introduce little by little some of the Comanage outputs that we have created in the previous months. So I was saying I come from EcoSurveys. Just a brief note, we are a non-profit consulting company based in Barcelona. We work mainly in energy transition and climate change. And regarding energy transition, we are specialized in energy poverty, citizen engagement, citizen empowerment. So as you see, energy communities are in our day-to-day. So trying to get to the topic, which is, okay, we have seen energy communities for quite a while already in Europe or in most of the EU countries, they are already a reality. They are starting to grow. They are there. But how can we actually ensure the viability of these energy communities? How can we ensure that is through management, of course, or proper management, as we would like to call it. And in the co-managed project, we have identified 4 key points that are crucial for proper management, or challenges. We could say that these challenges that we need to overcome as the energy community sector itself. Of course, I'm not focusing on challenges that energy communities are facing, that we would go through financial, regulatory transposition, and so on and so forth. We are focusing now on the afterlife, after promotion life of energy communities. So here, as I said, we have identified 4 pillars or 4 things we think it's important to focus on. The first one, I will go briefly because I will try to go into detail afterwards, is the pooling of energy communities services. So aggregating these energy communities and having like a body that acts as an umbrella to coordinate, to network all these energy communities. We believe this is crucial so energy communities can focus on what's important, which is growing and being transformative and impacting the energy model. So they are not like up to their heads with day-to-day tasks that are not that transformative. So this is could be one of the tasks of this pooling. I will go through these tasks later on. And then on this first section or point, we also have professionalization. I was saying that energy communities are growing and we are starting to see them, but being honest, energy communities were here a long time before the EU regulation. They were here 10, 20, and 30 years ago, but they were simply not called energy communities. They were called community energy projects or co-ops or however we like to call them. So we already have a lot of experience from them, gained from them. And one of the crucial points is that all of them, or at least the successful ones that we see right now, they all have professional teams behind. So of course, energy communities are on a voluntary basis, but they need to be backed up by professional services. So here we also see it's important to untap the potential of professionalization. Then on the second point, we have the importance of strengthening this participation, on these cooperative values. Of course, the participation needs to be diverse, and here we believe it needs to be a merge or joint effort between local authorities and energy communities to make sure that everything we hoped energy communities were, that they are in reality, so everyone is included there. And right now, we could say that there's mainly one profile of person participating in energy communities, which is a person that has intermediate to advanced knowledge in the energy sector, and that's quite restrictive. And of course, that profile is also men over 55 or 60 years old that has free time. So if energy communities need to be transformative, and we actually want them to be a key player in the energy system, they need to be diverse. And here the local authorities will also play a key role in promoting that. The second part, which is the cooperative values, we see right now, well, just to acknowledge my positionality, I'm speaking from Barcelona, Catalonia, that our sector in energy is super mature, advancing at a super quick. But in other regions of Spain, I am aware that they're facing a bit of a struggle with the values that are, or the core values that the energy community should fight for or be driven by. And they are facing other kinds of projects which are led by big energy companies that are misleading a bit. We could spend a whole webinar discussing if they should be there or not, but we cannot discuss is if they are energy communities or not. So here, there's also a huge challenge to overcome, which is the narrative behind the energy communities. And then linked to these big energy companies, we have the third challenge that needs to be overcome, not only in the promotion, but also to ensure this viability, this resilience for energy communities, which is actually confronting this system that we were given, which is, of course, a fuel fossil-based model, but what it's most important, it's the companies that are behind with a special focus on their key role that the TSO plays in actually making the energy transition possible. Here, just to give you some context of what we are talking about, we are not only on the political side, like, oh, we need to change the system. We are talking about something practical. And just to give you this example, we are also coordinating a project, an 2020, which is Sun for All, and we have a pilot case in Barcelona, which is the community project led by the municipality of Barcelona. In this project, they are We have implemented a shared self-consumption with over 80 vulnerable households. Well, once the installation was legalized, so it was ready, these over 80 households stopped receiving bills because the DSO was not able to give the proper data to the utility. So the impact that the malpractice of the DSO have in energy communities or community-driven project is huge. So here we're truly seeing that the DSO needs to be confronted or at least changed in some way. And in the fourth point, last but not least, it's super important that innovation keeps driving these energy communities. They are built from innovation, they're innovative, but they need to keep going for it. And it's super important that they diversify the services, they start tapping other doors apart from shared self-consumption, which is crucial, but they need to start other services, not only to be more transformative, which is what we want them to be, of course, but also because they will be more resilient to market changes. We all know that a couple of years the energy crisis was crazy, the prices were skyrocketing, and right now they're plummeting below zero. Of course, this will get regulated, but in the meanwhile, that could be super tricky for energy communities. Diversifying the services will help a lot to lower the risk. I don't know, by getting into shared mobility, aggregated purchases of anything, aerothermia, whatever they want to purchase, or even retailing other renewable energy projects bigger than shared self-consumption. Or it could be extremely nice, actually, it would be a wish list if they could actually untap the potential of energy reduction. So monetizing this as a service would also be could give them a lot of economic reliability, and it could make their business model a lot more solid and robust. But what we are focusing now is on the first one, which is the energy communities pooling or aggregating services. And here we have identified the energy communities network coordinator. We can call it as we wish, but it's important to understand that this body acts as an umbrella for other energy communities. And we have identified 5 sections or 5 pillars for these coordinators of energy communities. Coordinators, it doesn't mean that they tell them what to do, but rather that they help them succeed on what they want to do. So yeah, the word, we still need to find the right words for this in English. So of course, the first one, they need to promote energy communities. That was crystal clear. We didn't had to think about it. The second one, as I was mentioning, was to fight for this common narrative with co-op values, being this common narrative steward, so citizens are not misled into something that it's not energy communities. Then the third one, as they will be an umbrella and they will be helping all these energy communities, they will be gathering lots of knowledge. So we think one of the roles is to actually disseminate and be like a knowledge keeper. So if someone new comes to promote an energy community, they will have tons of experience in promoting energy communities, and they will have faced many different barriers. The fourth one would be the mapping of existing initiatives. It was crucial for energy committees to see like a reference point, to see something to build from. Okay, those people in that place build that kind of business model. Okay, let's follow that one. So mapping existing initiatives is crucial, so people have something to build from. And it's also important to see the interconnection between them. So this network coordinator also needs to act as a body that links together energy communities for, I don't know, joint services or joint tasks, whatever they might be up to. And last but not least, it's actually the most important from our point of view, is the actual pooling of energy community services. Here, of course, this network coordinator could be public, or it could be private as a second degree cooperative for energy co-ops. So here, this is open. Of course, the public administration won't be able to do some things that the private sector might, but yeah, that's up to us to decide what kind of model we want to drive for. So here, the pooling of, just to give you some examples of what's possible and what's already being done, because I was telling I'm speaking from Barcelona, and we already have a couple of these energy community network coordinators that are being super successful. What they are doing, they are aggregating, for example, administrative work, creating financing mechanism like, I don't know, the potential is unlimited, revolving funds, ESCO models, whatever, but they have the ability to go to the private banking and say, I have all these people backing me up. They're also helping the small energy communities with the taxes, which is something they shouldn't be dealing with because they are still on a voluntary basis. They are helping apply for subsidies in a joint way or individual, applying for new projects, giving joint legal services because energy communities definitely need legal support, but they definitely don't need a legal expert when they are starting. So aggregating all these kind of services, like I don't know, buying 5 electric cars in the same while, so you get discounts, whatever. All these things can happen under the umbrella of the network coordinator. This is why we think it's super important to drive for this new body. Also because energy committees that might take place, so new energy committees will know that they are kind of covered by this umbrella. Someone will take care of things that are, I don't know, out of their knowledge or even scope. So talking about energy committee coordinators, what is the co-managed project and how does it actually support this energy committee management, this aggregating of services? Okay, the co-managed project is a live project that we are coordinating as EcoSurveys. We have 3 pilot areas, but I will not explain the project. The aim of today is to go a bit through the tools that this project might give or might make available for energy communities. These tools are all focused, or most of them, in the mid and long-term sustainability of energy communities. As I said, they are already here, but what makes us think that they will stay here in 10 or 15 years? So this is what we have been focusing on in the Comanche project. How we will do it, we will implement 3 pilot areas. They will have one-stop shop, but the important thing is what will fit this actual one-stop shop, and this is what we are calling the Comanche Open Platform, which is what I want to quickly go through today to present you. Also, it's important to know that we are not creating all these resources from our office. We are not, okay, Paco, what do you think of this legal tool? We are not. We are glad that our 3 pilot areas have already existing energy communities. And what we have been doing is a co-identification / co-creation process with already existing mature initiatives. So they could give us their point of view on what they would have needed when they started and what were they facing right now, what issues they were facing. Okay. So the Comanche Open platform has 4 main topics. The first one is they are quite easy to understand, which is also important. The first one is an energy communities governance toolkit. So we have created and gathered all kinds of different tools that we believe will be beneficial for the daily tasks of energy community managers. Okay. The second one, we of course also want to put the focus on the learning, this professionalization we were speaking of. So we have created a e-learning platform. Then on the third one, we have the digital hub. Here we were on the proposal stage. We're saying, okay, it's super important to interconnect energy communities, but we have realized that many other projects are already creating valuable solutions, like the one Tanya will explain afterwards. So what we're trying is to find synergies with other projects to link in between different platforms. Okay. I believe we have potential in all 3 pilot areas. And the last but not least, it's actually the most not transformative, all of them are transformative, but it's the most innovative one, which is the decision support system. In a few words, because I will go through it later, it's a large language model, basically like a AI chat, but especially focused on energy communities to be able to answer the most basic doubts. Not that well on time, so I will quickly go through these tools that we have created. Here we have the Energy Committee's Governance Toolkit. We have covered many different topics and many different tools. We have focused a lot on the legal, all the barriers that the Energy Committees suggested us or showed us that they were facing. We tried to build solutions for it. So we were very like solution-based thinking. And here we created templates for legal body constitutions, so they don't need to focus on the promotion, and later on during the managing, they don't face problems because, I don't know, their statutes are not taking into account, I don't know, bringing creating financial funding mechanism. I don't know, things like that were quite basic, but people were like, I don't know, okay, let's create a legal body. Okay, I download a PDF from internet, I copy paste it, and they were right now facing issues because of that. So we have created something to take into account lessons learned. We also, I forgot to say that the Comanage project focuses mostly on metropolitan areas because we have identified that many energy communities are arising in rural areas, places where neighbors are more interconnected. We all know in the cities we are all a bit, well, not that connected. So we wanted to put the focus on metropolitan areas. And in metropolitan areas, the rooftops are not that available. So we created something that has been proven very useful, which is in some pilots, a private rooftop leasing contract to untap the potential of private rooftops and so on and so forth. Then there are a lot of different tools regarding the social to promote inclusive participation, energy poverty tackling, which is super important, gender diversity as well, a quick checklist. Then we have dissemination. We realized, or they told us, that they were not focusing enough on disseminating their projects. They were all the day thinking, okay, what am I going to do? How am I going to do? Who am I going to partner with? And they were not actually focused on disseminating what they were actually already doing. So we have created a series of materials. Then on the financial, we have developed an economic viability model with an adapted business model to energy communities, which focuses on the implementation, but also on the afterlife where you want to expand your services and start, let's say, with shared electric mobility. Then you reopen this and you include it, and you have these economic viability calculations. And last, super easy but super needed, was this self-consumption templates and user journey to find, I don't know, the frequent answers and questions, useful tips when promoting shared self-consumption, which is, as said, the first service that energy communities are going for. Just to show you a bit, this is some of the communication or graphic tools that we are promoting, ready to use PowerPoints, call to action posters for assemblies, meetings, promotion, all kinds of visual identity materials that for us, they were super easy to develop, and they are proving to be very useful. There are also some more infographics here with a video that they will be able to tailor. So energy communities will be able to tailor these infographics regarding energy poverty, questions you need to ask yourself for inclusive participation, and so on and so forth. So having given this overview of the Comanage toolkit, I also wanted to open the floor afterwards, sorry, because we are co-creating this governance toolkit, and it's super important that we are in continuous improvement. So we will be happy to hear your thoughts on our actual tools or in new tools that we should develop in the upcoming months, because we won't stop developing new tools. So we're talking about, okay, how can we actually ensure that energy communities are resilient? And we were speaking more of a broader concept, more on, okay, what does the energy community sector need? But going a bit more into detail on what does actually an energy community need, like energy community A, what does it need? We have identified 3 pillars for that, which is, there are 3 of them. The second one we have already covered, super important, which is the innovation and diversification. So I won't go into detail, but the first one is usually left behind. And when the EU regulation, when we received the EU regulation in its moment, we realized the focus was not on energy, it was on community, but we're leaving that behind, and we are technifying the discourse, the narrative. We are focusing a lot on short self-consumption, and we are leaving quite behind all the community aspects. And the community aspects goes with an emphasis on governance. And we need to understand that energy communities have a complex governance systems, but we also need to understand but it's an ever evolving matter. So it's not a place where you don't get to governance 10 out of 10. You get to the governance that suits your needs in that moment, and then you adapt it as you go. So as you grow or as you diversify services, or as new people join, or external inputs that might make you change your governance. So we believe that for continuous improvement, it's super important. Energy communities make this like one of their core things, like, okay, let's focus on governance. How are we I don't know, growing or managing our structures? And on the third, which is the blue, of course, linked to the professionalization, it's super important to not stop. So have a continuous training, continuous upgrade of our knowledge to be able to explore different services, explore different way of workings, and to be able to drive for innovation, which is number 2. And in this matter, in the Comanage project, we have developed, as I mentioned, the Comanage Training Program. It's quite easy, but what we aim to do was to gather meaningful and reliable knowledge to be able to provide it in a simple way. Okay, the target, of course, was energy community managers and public servants. That was easy, and we developed this training in 4 different languages, in English and in our 3 pilot area languages, which were Italian, Catalan, and Polish, and we are now trying to explore the translation to Spanish. The meeting, the training is being hosted in Moodle, and in our 3 pilot areas, it will also have a hybrid format to try to promote it as much as possible. And our expectations are quite high. We aim to train 1,500 people, so we are going for it. Here you can imagine the topics we are covering. I won't go through them because it would take too much time, but I'm pretty sure that they said you will be sent the presentation so you can go through all the modules that we are developing, both for the English and for the tailored versions according to each of the pilots. So trying to go to the third topic I wanted to mention is, okay, in all this, what role should local authorities play in energy communities? Should they be left behind or not? And here, of course, we have a clear answer. Public authorities, they need to be deep into the energy community sector. We believe more of in a political stance. We believe they need to create this narrative, promote it, confront other narratives, promote regulatory changes, transpositions, confront the DSOs. I don't know. When people see the public authorities there, we can gain this citizen trust. So it's super important, and they can even create funding mechanism, subsidies mechanism in this case, and therefore we'll see more projects. But on a practical way, trying to land all these thoughts that are very nice, what can actually a public authority? And here we see the first 3 that are super linked with the one-stop shop services that I mentioned. The first one is quite simple, which is giving advice and disseminate the energy community narrative or concept. People come to you in a one-stop shop and you simply give them advice. You need to have a structure and funding, but you are not getting that deep into it. The second one is from this advice, you are trying to actually facilitate and promote, actively promoting energy communities, and this might go through support services like I don't know, workshops in the different neighborhoods or in the different villages, even, I don't know, allocating some services. An energy community comes to you, they have technical issues, and you have engineers on board, so you just give them a bit of advice, you facilitate and promote this creation and this support of energy communities. The third one already goes a lot more in depth, and here's where local authorities can create subsidies, funding mechanisms, supporting mechanisms that have resources allocated. And here, one of the things that energy communities need most at the moment is rooftop leasing. So when public authorities get there, energy communities might get to another level. We might see a true deployment of energy communities. Even though we believe all 3 are super important, getting to the third, it might be quite beneficial. And of course, the fourth, and not less important, would be great, which is the active participation in the governance. This is proving to be quite tricky because of legal things and so on and so forth. But we believe we will truly see this in the upcoming years. So we need to be open to that, not only having like a passive role, but having an active role in the governance of the energy communities. And here, to understand all this, we also need to understand what kind of energy communities do we have, depending on the promoter. Because if we understand what we are facing, we cannot create tools that will actually be useful for these energy communities. And here we have divided 3. They are super easy to understand, either public-led, either public communitarian, which might be a mix, or community-led. And here we have identified 2 aspects in which we evaluate these 3 potential energy communities, which are governance and impact. Of course, in governance, in public-led projects, we might be lacking a bit of governance. It might depend on the political party in charge. People might not be on board on that. So we get some more governance in the second one when we put the community in between. And of course, when we go through democratic structures such as co-ops or associations, which is the third, we get the full governance structure. Okay, here I said structure, not functioning, because every energy committee will be different. So of course, we need to work on the functioning and make sure that democratic values are on the core of the energy community. But if we try to combine this with the impact, we get different results, because there's a lot of impact on public and community-driven energy communities, but there's a lot more impact if we merge these two worlds in between the public and the private, because communities might not be energy communities in forms of co-ops, sadly, they might not be that inclusive. As I said, they might leave someone behind. So when we get the public authority in between, we untap the potential of getting to everyone. And getting to everyone means more diversity, but also means even opening more services. So the cooperation of public bodies might also help, for example, create energy poverty tackling strategies within the energy committees. So here we believe the most impact will definitely be driven by public communitarian energy communities. Trying to present the last thing I wanted to present, in the project we were discussing, okay, we are here, we want to know our one-stop shop services, where will they get? And we agreed they would get to the between the second and third point, but it's important to see that the first one, when we speak of metropolitan areas, it can get out of hand. So we were asking ourselves, okay, how much is too much when managing a one-stop shop that focuses on delivering advice for energy communities? And here we develop our last tool, which was what we call so far the decision support system. This, as I mentioned before, is a large language model that basically is provided with with outside resources of energy committees, and of course what we are developing, and basically gives simple answers to the users. So for example, a user comes, I have a mock-up here. The user comes and asks, okay, we are 4 people, what kind of legal body is best? And I'm making this example because it's actually one which I tested the Catalan version with. And this tool will tell you, okay, so the energy community in form of association, you need 3 people. In the cooperative, you need 10 people. The initial investment is 3,000 or rather lower, and it gives you all this practical but basic info that you don't need to address an actual one-stop shop. So the one-stop shop, well, this is part of the one-stop shop, but you don't need to interact with the person, because the person will be giving actual like promotion and supporting energy community projects. So I believe this will help us with the most basic, like, okay, what's PV, or in what stage I am if I have already done this step of the legalization process of a shared consumption. So we are trying to cover all these basic doubts regarding energy communities and energy transition on its own. Here I want to say, and this is my last slide, I think I have run out of time. We are right now looking for resources to feed this decision support system. So please, if you have developed something, and I'm pretty sure we'll be able to use many of LIFE-BECKON content, please write us so we can find synergies and try to put your contents inside our decision support system. And just my last slide, because all this is great, or at least I think it's great, not that humble from my part, but when this is going to be available? Quite soon, to be honest. We are now finalizing the details. The dates you see here are for the generic English version. We will launch the training in May, and the rest, the toolkit and the decision support system, will be launched in June. And the digital hub, as mentioned, is yet to be determined, because we believe we will coordinate with other existing initiatives. Regarding the pilot launching, some of them differ. Some of them might do it even a bit earlier than June, but the latest will be July. So the latest, which I believe is the Catalan one, will be launched in July. So we will keep you posted, and yeah, keep checking our website and our comms. So thank you a lot for your attention. I hope you find it useful for your projects or your energy communities. And if you have any doubts or concerns, feel free to also email me at this address. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Paco, for the amazing presentation. The project looks really nice, and it's a really challenge to accomplish all the features in one-stop shop platform. I've had this questions here. I just wanted to ask you if you said that it's difficult to well, that all in the energy community you have only the people that are over 55, and I think that's in some cases that could happen or the otherwise. But maybe if when you are in the operational, no, when you are already constituted the energy community, what do you think you could improve to open the energy community to other ages? Because you said that it is, and I think it's true. You are maybe with people that have a lot of time or a lot of passion. How you do that when you are already on advanced phase of the energy community?
It's not an easy answer. Here it comes to my mind both the externals, how it's seen the community outside and how it's seen inside. On the outside, I believe it's super important to focus on inclusive communication, trying to not be too technical about it, trying to, I don't know, empower people, engage people, but not on the technical aspects of the energy community, but rather on the change you are driving for. And also on the outside, it's super important when speaking about diversity to speak about I know the word in English, but reference people. If you have an energy community that everyone that is a speaker, they're all men, I don't know, white men my age, I will have white men of my age. We will be a young energy community. So the reference person is super important when outdoors. And indoors, we believe it's important also to create mechanisms to avoid entry quota level barriers. I don't know, when you create assemblies or spaces that are on a voluntary basis, try to find suitable hours so everyone can participate. All these minor things, they help promote diverse energy communities. So it's not an easy answer, but there are some tips. And in the tools that we are developing, you will find all these things reflected.
Thanks, Paco, for the answer. Yeah, it's not an easy question. I know. Well, now I will give the floor to Tanya. And I think she's still there.
Hello, Mauro. So thanks for the introduction. Thanks to the LIFE-BECKON project to invite me to participate in this last webinar. I would like to introduce a little bit myself. I work as I coordinate the project Ceres. That is a project where we give direct counsel and guidance to energy communities. It's led by the company I'm working, that is R2M. That R2M is also participating in LIFE-BECKON project. So my role in this energy transition in this world of energy communities is as an energy network coordinator, as Paco was introducing before. So I'm come to between energy communities, what kind of collaborative opportunities we can find in different levels, at a local level, at the regional level, and a national or international level. So in a local level, what we are seeing in the communities that we are guidance is that the opportunities are more related to personal relationships, or what it means that participating in an energy community for the citizens means connecting with their neighbors and creates the strongest community bonds. Also is a good opportunity for them. Many of the people that is participating in the energy community are related to some related fields like the energy fields, the social fields, and this kind of professionals that involves in the spare time in the energy community, they had an opportunity also in their energy in the energy community to visualize their work or their experience. Also, energy communities, meetings and events are good opportunities for local agents to visualize or even to collaborate with the energy community. For example, NGOs, ecological movements of the local municipality, energy corps, they are usually involved with the energy community when they start a meeting or start doing events. Also, the energy communities for the people that is involving is impulsing the initiative is a good opportunity to integrate diversity, as Paco told before as well. So when we go to a regional level, an upper level, then we start seeing there is kind of opportunities for job creation. As Paco was mentioning before as well, we can provide, if we cooperate with other energy communities of our region, common services or joint services for operation and management of our energy community. These kind of services can be related to administration and societary co-management. That means, for example, registration and cancellation of members, data management, getting ready for the general assemblies, all these kind of administration tasks that are related to juridic form that is a cooperative or an association. Also, as we are creating energy communities are, in fact, entrepreneurship initiatives. We need to keep record of our accounting. We need to keep record of our taxes. So yeah, we are like a small company. So this kind of task suppose a lot of workload for a single energy community. But if we can provide joint services for everyone, it will create, as I told before, a job. Other kind of services are related to marketing or even energy services. What happened, what we already have achieved our first project, we want to do the next one. From the energy community can be many ideas, but for as a joint service, we can get support from our person that is hiring for this. Also, when we cooperate together, we can get easily to funding opportunities. So to inspire others and to cooperate, we have be in an advanced phase of the energy community. What we are checking in many parts of Spain is that we are still in the study phase or in the dynamization and installation phase, but we are not, in many cases, in the operation and maintenance phase. In this phase is when we start to have these kind of opportunities of joint services. I would like to show you some examples at a regional level. For example, in Catalonia, as Paco was telling, there is this cooperative called Osona. That is a second grade cooperative that is providing these kind of services that I was telling before. Also, in the Basque Country, we have the COP Guyaner that is impulsing and also promoting and getting and giving advice to energy communities in their territories. So it's easy that when you start any communities by an entity, it's easy for you to connect with other if you are having a good guidance. And this is what we are doing as well in CERES, in this office that I am coordinating. We had some examples at the Euro level, but also in the national level. So it is very productive when you have people that is connecting directly to the initiative, but that can also have some space in a higher level, in national level or in a EU level. For example, we've been counseling some energy communities last year in Spain for getting an economical aid from the government to set up their initiatives. And from this process, giving guidance to many other initiatives we learn. So now we are writing reports about our experience of that and sending this to the national government. If we want to, as single energy community, for a single energy community, it's very difficult to gather all this information and have the time and the will to connect with the government. But when we scale, when we cooperate, is very productive. So another example of cooperation at a higher level is the RESCOP. I guess that everyone know RESCOP network here. And they are listing more than 1,500 initiatives in the webpage. I recommend you to check. RESCOP is a third degree, maybe cooperative, or even second degree, I don't know. The collaboration of many initiatives are providing a high effect on the EU policies. I mean, in this kind of level, we are speaking about the influence that the RESCOP is having at the EU level. So I will skip some presentations, some slides. So what we find is that in the local level, we have many barriers for promoters, for people that is really on the ground, that is promoting this in this neighborhood, to access to this kind of high level networks like RESCOP, for example, because we find that there are language barriers, that many of the people that is on this initiative, they lack of time. There's a voluntary service for them, and they lack of resources for traveling. So the solution for this is exactly what Paco told before, that we cooperate in a regional level or even in a national level with being able to hire someone that represents us and that have the experience to translate this to higher levels. So thanks for listening.
Thank you so much, Tanya, for the presentation. It looks really, really good. I just, I see that nobody has made any questions, so I will make the questions exclusively for you, Tanya. You present this RESCOP, that it's the assembly of all the energy communities in the European level. Do you think it's necessary to have another type of associations between energy communities in different regions, like in Spain, or maybe some kind of or in a province, all the energy communities unite in a kind of federation? Or it is enough to have only one?
Yeah, I think, as I said, that is very difficult to access to this kind of forums or this kind of financing, this kind of information when you can want to represent yourself only. So also the initiatives that are regional, that are more connected by their similarities. So if we go to represent Spain, to raise COP, for example, with a backup of 100 initiatives from different backgrounds, maybe it's difficult to represent all of them, because the difference between regions in Spain, as Paco told before, for example, in Catalonia, they are super advanced with the energy communities movement. They have a very large tradition of cooperatives in Catalonia, while in other regions are still trying to figure out what is an energy community. So if we cooperate in a regional level, maybe the similarities that you face when you are cooperating with someone that is in your territory makes you to be more involved in that movement.
I don't know if Paco wants to add something to what Denise said.
I totally agree with Tanya. I believe it needs to happen at a regional level. And then, of course, other things can happen, like federations of second-degree cooperatives. But this energy second degree or umbrella needs to happen at a regional level. Yeah.
I take a little bit of what Tanya said. It could be interesting also to have a federation specialized on the type of energy communities, because I think some difference between the form of energy that you are using. If you are using electrical energy, and we can ensemble all the energy communities that use electrical energy, and because they don't have so much in common with maybe thermal, the energy communities that use thermal energy. This it's a launch of another question that maybe is, do you think that this the energy communities has to have like a special taxification when they are using when there are different type of communities? Maybe we cannot have like an I don't know, operational management sessions for all the energy communities, and it is time to specialize in one kind of energy community. I don't know, it can be a technological aspects of the energy community, or maybe I don't know, also social aspect. I don't know. It's too soon to divide the in different groups and specialize
Yeah, I think that as I told before in the beginning, we are still in the process of creation, in the process of setting up new installations. Many of them are solar. So I think that the requirements for operational maintenance could vary from different, have variations from different kind of initiative, but until we don't reach this point, we will not see the whole needs and the link that we need to do with other energy communities. Would I like to be together with an energy community that is this kind? Maybe yes, maybe yes, because we are not very similar. Maybe we are even in different territories, but we have the same technology in our fields. Or maybe I will be more interested to collaborate with initiatives that have been promoted by municipalities. Or other maybe will like to be together with people with energy communities that have set up, I don't know, renovation system or efficiency system for the buildings. I don't know, maybe there will be different kind of federations, but we need to wait, I guess, to have an answer.
I don't know, Paco, if you have something to add, Daniel, or
Yeah, again, as Tania said, because she was mentioning the municipalities, I believe if there are like typologies of these network coordinators or second degree, it is more likely that it is because of the type of energy community due to its members, not rather due to its services. So I don't know, public-led or municipally-led, cooperative-led, and this is already happening because we see diputaciones or regional councils pushing for kind of OSSs, and then we see the cooperative sector pushing for other kinds of OSSs. So I believe it might already be happening that we will have different types of coordinators, as we call them. But I see an interesting the idea of a federation of all these, especially in the case of getting funding, because you get a lot more power to go get more funding. And I believe Rescoop is a great example because they launched the Metice project. I believe it's called Metice, in which they were cooperating in between big energy co-ops from Europe to, I don't know, raise in a week 10 million euros. So this capacity is only possible when you have this economy of scale. And here I believe joining efforts between coordinators might also help that to happen. And we haven't seen that happen, at least in Catalonia or Spain. We don't see that kind of coordination regarding funding, which is super interesting, and it's one of the issues or barriers that energy committees are facing. So I would be happy to see that happen.
and we still have time to another question. And this is for you, Paco. In the project that you are working on, do you have a special incentive plan to promote the participation of energy communities in the solutions? If this is an open source, one-stop shop of open source, all a citizen or energy community will have the incentive of adding information or tools or something of experience to this tool. I don't know if it's planned on the project or not.
It is planned and has actually been developed already, but we have many different tools regarding participation. Some of them refer to diverse participation and how to promote it, which is the first question. Then some of them focus more on, okay, let's grow, let's be more people, and it focuses a lot on the communication, having structures like mature and solid, so you approach citizens with crystal clear ideas, delivering the message, and so on and so forth. And we have created the ready-to-use materials as well. But yeah, we have created several materials that cover this topic of participation promotion. We actually have a participation promotion plan as well. So yeah, it will be covered there, and then adapted to each of our 3 contexts. But the English version is actually good enough because it's not that content dependent as, I don't know, the legal tools, for example, that make no sense to develop them in English.
Great. It's great to hear that. Well, I think we are already over time.
Yes,
Thanks.
I think we can wrap up. Thank you very much. Again, thank you very much, Mauro, for moderating. Thank you very much, Paco and Tanya, of course, for all the great insights. And of course, thank all of you that attended today in this last webinar of the series. Again, you will find all the materials for the presenters and along with the recording in the one-stop shop platform that we have, the LIFE-BECKON one-stop shop platform. You can scan the QR code to register there. You can also find there the previous 2 webinars that took place earlier in the last 2 months, and also, of course, all related capacity building materials that you can find that were developed within the LIFE-BECKON project, and also some life sister projects materials that you can also find there. Again, thank you very much, everyone. We hope that this was insightful for all of you, and we get to see each other hopefully in the future for other projects working in energy transition. Thank you very much and have a nice afternoon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.